how you feel about the Eagles as they approach the stretch run of the regular season. John, talk to me. What are you thinking? What are you feeling about what this football team is and what this football team is not? What do you got?
Well, I'm aware that this team has its issues, especially on the offensive side of things, and they're sort of centered for me around the offensive line more than anything. And I know that there are problems elsewhere, but it seems like they have a tendency to work themselves out. I am not worried this week.
Okay.
I know that it seems like a strange week.
It's
we're playing on Friday,
Yeah.
and we're playing a team that has the same record as we do, and it's kind of like, wait a second.
Right. It's one of the three hardest games they got left.
Bears have the same record as we do, and I look at that, and I'm a little bit offended, almost, like deep down, like that. Their record, they're 8-3. In my mind, it doesn't equate to our 8-3. Those numbers don't represent the same thing. And I want our team to show that, and I think they're planning to. Because I hope they're angry about the way that they lost, and I hope that they show that with their play. I do think there was some talk during the game, after the game, about some specifics of communicating football that maybe they needed to be said. When Landon Dickerson is talking about the fact that, hey, we needed to talk more about this front, maybe this is a wake-up call for, even Jeff Stoutland. Hey, maybe some of the guys are feeling like they're not getting everything full speed, like as easily as everyone else or as quickly as everyone else, or, let's just revisit the way this is taught, because some guys aren't feeling as confident as they need to feel. And that is a real problem when you're talking about the best athletes in the world playing at the highest speeds in the world. When you've got a plan, when you've got an assignment, and there's precision involved, that little things matter, and you can't be you can't be messing with the little things.
Well, I'm struck, John, when you reference that what was said after the last game. There's 2 times in Eagles history they've won a Super Bowl, obviously, and both times during the regular season, in the midst of some consternation, there was players that came out and said, let's do something else. 2017, after they did not run the ball versus Kansas City much, there was, hey, can we run the ball, please, Chatham?
The locker room.
Right?
Yeah, and it was Zach Ertz, the guy who couldn't run block to save his life, who's leading the charge.
Let's run the ball.
Let's run it.
And then last year, of course, and it was much earlier in the year, but in early October, after that funky 2-2 start, there again, it was sort of talk about, like, let's run the ball. Now, I'm not saying the let's run the ball is the thing this week, but sometimes
I think there needs to be some sort of let's reestablish ourselves.
Well,
and I do think that this offensive line, whatever this incarnation of it is, because it seems like that is constantly changing with the injury problem.
Changes by drive. Guys are in and out by drive within the games.
I'm telling you, if we would just line up and call some runs that work against everything, like let these guys mash people. Let's let this.
I don't know that they
offensive line,
can, though, John. I don't know that they can.
I think it's going to give them the best chance to have success if you give them run plays that run plays that offensive linemen like. I'm telling you, there are power run plays that normal offensive linemen that I know love.
Well,
and they want to run power.
Yeah.
They want to run. I mean, they want to mash people. They enjoy that stuff. And when they start having success like that, then they'll feel a little bit better about other parts of their game. These guys aren't very confident right now. And maybe Landon Dickerson is bringing up the fact, hey, there's a lot of looks out there. And when you have the best players, the fastest players in the world, if they're not playing their fastest, you got to look around and figure out why. In this case, it might be because their brain isn't processing the way it needs to.
Could be. Listen,
they don't know who to block right away. They have to sort it. Rather than going directly to the guy, they have to figure out and process it and wait and see if that guy's blocked by someone else and then redirect to someone new. It's just inefficient. We could be more efficient is what Landon Dickerson could be saying, and that could be a good thing for the future of this team. How do I feel about our team moving forward? Is this another epiphany like, hey, Brandon Graham in the locker room, let's get together, everyone, and kumbaya, let's fix it and go win a Super Bowl? I'm not saying it's that. I'm saying it might be just, hey, it might be a message to the guys who pride themselves for being teachers that some of the teaching needs to be refreshed.
All right, so look, 215-592-9494. Again, I ask all of you how you feel about the Eagles and really how worried are you? Because there has been a lot of gloom and doom talk this week. How worried are you, big picture, about the Birds, or are you not? Here's where I'm at. I still feel really freaking good about the Eagles. I mean, big picture, I feel really good about them. Now, do I have concerns?
They're the
of course.
2 seed in the NFC.
I mean, do I have concerns? Absolutely. And I've expressed those concerns this week, and to a certain extent, I've expressed those concerns for 3 months. But I would not classify myself as, like, truly worried. To John's point, as he just said, they're 8-3. So despite all the negatives, and there have been a lot of negatives, and I'd say there have been more negatives than last year, despite all the negatives, they still have the second best record in the conference. They'll be favored in a bunch of games up ahead. Now, there's 2 games in question of whether they'll be favored. They won't be favored at Buffalo. We'll have to find out after the Chicago game if they're favored at the Chargers. I mean, we'll see.
I would guess they are. Yeah,
I think.
mean, they got to win probably,
but we'll see.
I would guess they're like 1.5, 2.5, or something like that.
We'll see. So that one's going to hang in the balance. But they're the only 2 games that there's a possibility that they're not favored. I don't fear. Let's tackle this. Let's just say there's a scenario where the Eagles finish as the 2 seed, which as of now, probably the most likely scenario. I don't fear the Rams. I don't fear their home field advantage in an NFC Championship game.
I don't fear the home field advantage.
No, I mean,
that's non-existent.
So I got that in my back pocket as far as feeling better than I otherwise could.
There are guys on this team who could prefer playing in the surroundings, the weather and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
in L.A. than they would here in the freezing cold weather. They might actually like that better.
This is not a scenario where just because of one bad game and Makuba's injury that we should discount what we felt a week ago at this time, which is this might be the best defense in pro football. Now, they didn't look like it against Dak Prescott, and the pass rush stopped working, and a bunch of guys in the defensive backfield got injured. But if Reed Blankenship can play, and it looks like he probably will, that's by far the most important of the 3 guys that got injured back there. So I think we still have a really, really good defense, if not a great defense. The offense, we all want to see it play better. Okay, there's no doubt. Everybody acknowledges that they should be playing better, and that it sure as heck would help if they played better. But despite the freaking lame-o that they've put out there for most of the season, they've won 8 of the 11 games. Like, I hear people say they can't win the Super Bowl playing offense like this. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I will acknowledge it makes it harder to win the Super Bowl playing like this, but they've won 8 of 11 games playing like this. 10 out of the 11 games, they have not run the ball well. 10 out of 11. 10 out of 11 games, they haven't run it well, and 8 out of 11, they've won. So I utterly reject the premise that they can't do X, Y, and Z if they play like this. They typically find a way to win. They didn't last week. I'm not trying to brush aside the frustration of the loss to Dallas and what it may represent. Because it may represent coming problems. It may represent defensive backfield deficiencies. It may represent that if you get it in a game against a quarterback that can sling it around, that he can beat you. But you know what? They faced one of those guys in Baker Mayfield. They beat him. They've beaten a lot. I mean, they beat the Packers quarterback.
They beat the MVP frontrunner in Matt Stafford.
Right. And they beat Mahomes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, big picture, I still feel really good. But I'm curious where you're at 215-592-9494. I'll add this, and this might be an escape hatch to explain how I feel emotionally as well. Maybe you feel this, maybe you don't. Maybe this should be in play. Maybe it shouldn't. I'm just going to be candid. Because my team won a Super Bowl last year, I also don't view this as a do-or-die season. I want them to win it all. But, like, if they don't, I mean, what are we going to do? Throw them all out? I mean, so, like, number one, I feel good coming into the year based on the fact they just won a Super Bowl. Number two, despite all the negatives, they're 8-3. And number three, there's a lot up ahead where they're going to be favored. Big thing, man, is going to be whether to get the offensive line healthy. To me, that's the biggest variable that will either help or hurt their chances ultimately to get to the NFC Championship game, get to the Super Bowl, and win it. And we know what we're talking about. We're talking about Lane. We're talking about Dickerson. We're talking about Juergens.